be here. The players are looking good, physically and mentally, and we're excited and ready to go. I'm fired open for questions.
All right.
Waste no time.
Just had an 18-minute
I'm done.
opening
I know.
statement.
I'm done with the talking season. Gets to this point, we're ready for practice one. I can't wait to get out there.
Okay, raise your hand for the Roberts mics, please.
Mark, now that he's on campus, what have you seen from Jordan Bonner? Is he going to be able to play?
He's ready to go. We'll see. He's only been here a few days, so we'll get out there today and see what kind of shape he's in.
How big was that to get him here? I know you probably would have loved. Sorry.
I know you probably would have loved to have had him on campus for summer workouts, but just that he's not going to miss any camp. I know you've had some JUCO guys that missed a week or two, and it really set him back.
It is good. It's good that he's here. We wish we had him all summer to put some weight on him, but it is good. He's here day one. He won't miss much, so we'll see what he can do.
Answer the next question. We need these because we're doing ASAP quotes, so that's you'd be able to hear that.
Mark, how comfortable are you with your punting situation going into the season, and what are your expectations for Grant McKissick?
Yeah, we're excited to see what Grant can do. He's got a strong leg. Again, we'll see. You know, it's day one. We'll see what he can do. We just had a punt install meeting this morning, so you know, hopefully he can get the job done. We'll see. We have some other options, and you know, we're going to work hard at it. That's for sure.
Coach, Matt Elam looks like a different person.
Yeah.
He's lost some weight.
He has. As I've said, you guys have heard me talk about it. He's worked hard. He wants to be an impact player. He's lost some weight. He's trained hard. All of our players have. Coach Ed and our weight staff has done a really good job. The players have been very consistent and working extremely hard. And Matt looks very good. And hopefully that'll translate to the field. I think as you look at Matt, a lot of people have great expectations for him, as we do. But he's a different kind of player. He's a guy that's very good over the center in a zero technique, which we play quite a bit of. But and he does a really good job in there. In what he does and what we ask him to do, he's not always going to be that guy behind the line of scrimmage, making those flashy plays. But he's played some very good football for us. He needs to be more consistent with the weight loss, with playing more and being lighter on his feet and playing more snaps. That'll help all of us. So he needs to continue to improve and have a great summer. But he's done well, and sometimes it goes unnoticed. So we have to keep the expectations in check for him. He again, one of the most unselfish players on our team is some of the D linemen and guys up front. And so you're not always going to see the flash, but he's played some good football, and we're looking for him to play much better this year. Back off vacation on?
Yes, my sabbatical is over. I know you're so concerned.
I've been missing you.
Yeah. What are you most excited about, and what's your biggest fear, not including injuries?
I'm sorry, tell me again.
What are you most excited about besides seeing me? And what's your biggest fear outside of injuries?
Yeah, I think I'm most excited. Our team, as we get in there, you know, everything's gone relatively smoothly. We moved into the new building, and there's some kinks to work out there. But I'm most excited about our team. We had a great meeting last night, and I touched on all the things you've heard me touch on all summer. And that's basically being able to handle more and do more and practice more. And those guys, like last night, we go through quite a bit of administrative meetings, sitting up on the edge of their seat, being attentive for 2.5 hours, whatever it takes, and getting the job done. In our football meetings, paying attention to detail, in improving the fine strokes that it takes to win at a high level. I'm tired of working on the broad strokes. You know, our team has the foundation to handle more, to practice longer, to have good detailed practices. We're physically and mentally, we're better. And that's what I'm most excited about. It gives us the opportunity to grind them, to work, to have a camp that we need to have. And we've had the off season, we had the winter, we had the spring, we've done it. And now we have to have a great camp. And that's what I'm most excited about, because they can handle what we're going to put in front of them. And you know, I can't wait to get out there. What you fear, I don't, you know, I fear nothing, Alan. I'm not, I don't know, I'm not, you know, you always have your concerns. You wish you had some depth. You wish you watch football and sometimes you're sitting there saying, oh no, oh no, oh no, oh yes. And what, somebody makes a play, right? So you know, you just got to make sure you have enough playmakers and guys that could do things that are between them and God.
Mark, over here, right here.
Yeah.
Not to be redundant, but you just talked about depth, and that's one of the things I was curious about. Is that one of the things that you're going to be trying to work extremely hard on?
Yeah,
as far as
it is. We've worked on depth, like you know. We're always going to do that, but everybody is. So we're no different. We're really no different than any team in the country. You know, some have more depth than us. We realize that. But again, you've heard me talk about it. You never have enough. And you always want more. You always want more strength, more playmakers, more depth. And that's always a work in progress. Again, we're better than we've been, and we'll continue to build that depth. We will play some young guys in certain spots, so we'll see how that goes.
Coach, leadership on this football team, pretty good leadership?
The leadership is there. We work extremely hard at developing the leadership and training them to be leaders. Sometimes it comes natural. I mean, you have the great leaders that have been here in the past, and Avery, you know, you had a chance to work with him, and Danny Trevathan, from what I've heard, and just the special guys, and Jacob Tammy, and the great leaders that have been through here. Sometimes it comes natural, sometimes it doesn't. And our players, we've worked hard. We work directly with Jason Cummings, who really works hard with our team and our staff to help develop that leadership. And, you know, guys are getting better. And just last night, we had a great meeting. And, you know, when I was done, you know, some of the players said, you know, they wanted players only. And don't make too big about it. Don't ask them about it. They just wanted to talk to each other before camp started, before issues arose. And I love that. So, you know, that's the kind of leadership we need. And, you know, sometimes when you walk into a locker room and you know, we're not playing as well as we should be at halftime, you need guys to be able to jump up and you know, push the right buttons. And so, you know, we've talked a lot about that. I think there's more of them, and we'll see how it goes.
How about Mark? Have you been around a guy like Courtney Love before, who seems to have had such an impact before he's ever made a play on the field, and then also the statue that's going to go up outside the training facility?
Yeah.
Do your current players have a sense of history? Do you think that's going to have a big impact in any way at all?
Yeah, with Courtney, he's a special leader. He is a guy that it does come natural to him because he lives it every day. He's not afraid to be unpopular. He you know, he challenges guys the right way. He lives the right way. He's special. I have seen him for a long time and known him for a long time. That's documented. You've heard me touch on it. But he's a great kid and a great leader, and he's what you want in the middle of your defense. Let's hope he plays at a high level, and we'll see. He's got to prove himself. He knows that. He's not shying away from that. With the history, our players know very clearly. Every year, we had Wilbur and the guys come back and talk to our team and explain the history and how proud we are of the 4 players that did make a stand and start and break the color barrier in the SEC. And that's something that we should embrace here in Kentucky, and we're proud of those guys, and it's the right way to honor them, and we're excited about that, and our players getting to know those guys more and more every year.
Mark, there's some debate on the national stage about eliminating kickoffs from the game. Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I don't know if that'll happen. I don't think it'll happen, but you know, we'll see. As much as I would like to have that the past couple of years on some plays, in general, I'm a traditionalist and like the game the way it is. So we'll see. But I don't have any opinion on it right now until it really gets serious. But I like the game the way it is. But you always ask me, would you do something over? I certainly would if you go back a couple of times. But yeah.
I'll just say this is Mike nearby. Mark, with that depth that you have this year that's maybe new, and with all the new facilities and different things like that, do you notice maybe a heightened sense of ownership or a more sense of eagerness from your players?
I do. I believe that was something that I touched on briefly. I don't want to make a big issue of it, but it is a fresh start for us. We're in a new building. We're gonna start right now what we can control, and I like that. But as I told the team, we're excited about that. They deserve that. Once again, couldn't be done without Mitch, who was in here earlier, Dr. Capilouto, and the generous donors here in town. We've worked hard to build relationships. I've worked hard to build relationships with people in this town, and they've delivered. And that wouldn't be done if it wasn't for the generous support of people like Joe Kraft and Kelly, and in particular have done so much for this university and many others. I just had a big fundraiser the other day for the Children's Hospital, and there was 500 men there that I've gotten to know in this community that are outstanding people, leaders in this community, and I consider friends. So it is a fresh start. We appreciate all the effort that so many people did, and the people that worked so hard to get this building done. And like I said, the administration for making it happen, the generous people and the donations that it took to get it done. So it's a fresh start. We're excited about that, but none of that matters except what goes on between the white lines. And that's what we got to take care of starting today.
In Louisville a week or two ago, DJ said that the secondary is the strength of the defense. In your opinion, heading into camp, what is the strength of the offense?
We have experience. We have some guys that have grown up and played at a young age. We have some running backs that have touched the ball. We have some receivers that have played a lot of football. We have some O-linemen with 4 returning starters. I feel like we have great depth interior. In the O-line, we need to continue to develop depth at tackle. But I think that's the strength, is there's a bunch of guys that have played a lot of football. We've taken our lumps, as you know, for 3 years, but those guys have gained some valuable experience, and there's no replacing that.
Mark, Drew Barker, now that he's the guy, the quarterback, how do you make sure, balance out that he doesn't try to put too much pressure on himself or try to do too much and just be comfortable and settle into that role?
Yeah, I think I like what I've seen so far. And again, we talked a lot about that. It was control what you could control and take care of your business and lead by example, and he's done that. I see a calmness about him. He's been that way. All through spring, he was that way. When he was in another competition for the beginning of spring, he was calm and confident. I see him doing that all summer. We're looking for we have higher expectations. He has higher expectations than being the starting quarterback here. He wants to be the starting quarterback and develop and produce and make plays and help lead us. So I see a calmness about him and a confidence about him, and that's just a part of the process.
You talked about the. It's not even on. Okay. You talked about the potential superstars in the secondary, the offseason. The new corners and safeties that you brought in, the freshman recruits. How do you think they can impact going forward, and kind of what are your expectations of those guys?
I'm very excited about those guys. I really think that when you go out and recruit corners, they're exactly what you're looking for. Jordan Griffin, we talked a lot about. And I hate to talk too much about incoming guys until I see them. But I've seen enough in the summer. I see their work ethic that I know they're going to be very good players. And Devontae as well. Devontae is a good-looking player that works hard. They have the right mindset. And Tobias as well. So I'm excited about the incoming secondary guys. And again, they have the measurables that you're looking for. They can run. They have size. They play explosive football, but more importantly, they have a great mentality.
Mark, I know your expectations are high for all your players, but one guy that's getting a lot of preseason accolade praise is Boom. Can you talk about going into a third year for him and kind of where you set his bar and his expectations from you?
It's quite simply just consistency. He's been super explosive. We've all seen that in this stadium, and he's shown flashes. A big part of being a running back and having numbers is staying healthy, and we have good depth. That's the nice thing about that position. He's a guy, as he becomes more mature, as he physically is able to handle it, he can handle more reps. He had to work very hard at conditioning. Even again, capacity. He needs to be able to handle the ball and have a long run and get right back in line and do it again. And so I think he's trained to build some endurance and of course strength, and a big part of strength is injury prevention. So hopefully he can stay healthy.
Mark, if you could remember the first time you felt confident that Drew could do this, that he could be the starting quarterback for your team, and are you at all concerned a little bit about depth behind him at that position this year?
Yeah, I think you're always concerned about depth. I feel good about Steven Johnson. He really had a good spring, and we're glad we have him. He brings a little different skill set at times if we wanted to dabble in some different parts of the game. You know, you saw flashes in Drew from day one. I mean, I was there in high school and watched him play, and the game I was there, it was a back and forth game, and you saw him just have that ability to create plays. And those are things that I was talking about earlier, that, you know, you have to have some special players with instincts and that make things happen. Certainly you have to have great structure, we all know that. You have to have a great scheme, offense and defense, but you have to have some guys that have the ability to make plays. And you watch football, you see it all over the place, whether it's pro or high school or college. There's guys that ad-lib and have that instinct and have that ability to scramble when they need to scramble, or scramble to buy time and throw the ball down the field and make plays. He has that ability. He needs reps and needs to stay within the framework of the offense and execute what is there, and then do what God gave him the ability to do, and that's play football. But I've seen it since high school. I saw it every year he's been here. It just hasn't been consistent enough. Been through that 100 times, but he won the job when he was ready to win the job.
Mark, I know back in the spring game back here. I know back in the spring game that you said it was
sort of back there.
What is that? You said it was sort of a wait and see with Cash Daniel. Where do you stand right now with him going into camp?
He improved. It was nice that he was here for the spring semester, because he certainly improved. And he's worked really hard. Work is not a problem for that guy. He has a great work ethic, a great attitude, and you know, he's going to be a great asset to this team. We'll see where he fits in. You know, he's still a freshman. He did have the advantage of going through spring and all summer, and he looks really good. He's really loosened up his body, because he's always been strong, as you could physically you could see him, and know he has great size and great strength. But I think he's really loosened himself up and can move around better, which is going to help him. He needs to continue to pick up all the schemes, and you know, it's quite different, as you know, for a freshman. So you never can tell. We have quite a few practices. We have 29 practices before our first game. So we'll see how it goes. I'm excited about him. He's going to be a very good football player. When? I'm not sure.
Are there some other new guys at linebacker that can maybe add something to that mix?
I think Eli's the big guy. You know, of course, they're all new, you know, because Courtney has played college football, but he had to sit out last year. De Niro played college football and had to sit out last year. And Eli redshirted. He needs to continue to get some strength and some size, but he's an explosive guy. Again, he needs the reps. He's a freshman, but those are some guys that certainly will help us athletically.
Ryan Timmons last season only had 12 catches, which was significantly less than his first 2 seasons here, but he seemed to have a pretty good spring, so what are you expecting out of him this season?
The same thing I said every year since I sat here, I believe, in the preseason meetings, right? Is I expect him to have a good year, I really do. And maybe he did not have as good a year as he would have liked and I would have liked a year ago, but this is a new year. I have a lot of confidence in him. He's worked really hard. And I believe he'll have a good year. So I hope he proves me right.
Mark, are you missing anybody in camp, whether it's health or academics or anything, or are you at full strength?
We're at full strength. We're good. We're good to go. Academically, you know, summer school just ended. You're always, you know, watching a few guys, but by and large, our team has really done a good job academically, and physically, we're ready to go as well.
Alex Montgomery,
Alex is going to be the only guy. He's close, but he will not start camp with us in the 105.
Mark, you have been recruiting against some of the big-time powers in college football since you've been here, but now that you have the facilities, now that you have the stadium, what's the message to high school kids on why they should turn down some major programs with decades and decades of tradition to come to Kentucky?
Yeah, kids, I mean, we all know you're going to fight history to some extent, and you know, that's always going to be there. That's not going to go away, but we embrace what we have here, what we've done, what we've invested, who we are, who our people are. It's a great place to go to school. It's the same message it always is. It's about relationships. It's about the product that we put on the field and how we develop players on and off the field. And now we have beautiful facilities to go with it. But as I told them all along, you have the nicest facilities in the world. It's about what goes on inside the building and what goes on inside the white lines.
In the absence of Mike, Mark, one of the players when we talked about quite a bit in terms of his athleticism, that being Kobe Walker, he's had a lot of injuries this year. I heard EJ say something about him the other day. Where does he stand?
Yeah, talking about Kobe Walker. Kobe is a guy that I'm excited to see. He's healthy, he's eligible to play, and ready to go. So hopefully he'll help us. He is another guy that needs to be more consistent in everything that he does in his life. And we're going to constantly work with him and bring him along. He has some really good talent, and hopefully he'll continue to be consistent and improve in all areas of his life.
Coach, are you more comfortable now that you've been 4 years here as a head football coach here in the Southeastern Conference?
Yeah, definitely. I think you're always more comfortable the longer you're in a situation, and as you know, when you're involved in an organization this big, there's so many moving parts all the time. And I think as you're here and you move into year 4, the pieces fall in place and you learn, and you know there's always going to be things you wish you could do a little better or you could do over, and there's always things you learn from, and that'll never change whether you're a head coach for 1 year, 4 years, or 20. You're constantly trying to do the very best you can, and yeah, I think it's fair to say I'm more comfortable moving in.
You still have a passion for it, right?
No. Give me a break. You should have been in the meeting last night.
Last one in the back.
Mark, you touched on when you were recruiting Drew Barker for one of his games. It seems like Kentucky quarterbacks that have played in high school in Kentucky and then go to college here have added pressure because the whole state has watched them grow up and develop as a high school quarterback. Do you think that Drew is ready to handle that pressure of being the hometown hero of this college team?
Yeah, I don't think, you know, that you could label him how you want to label him. I don't think he wants that label. He wants to be labeled as a quality football player and a quarterback that's going to lead this team. And yes, I believe he's ready to do that. And all the other stuff, that's for y'all to write and for him not to read.
All right, folks, thank you very much.
And the last thing I'm going to say is it's nice this evening and tomorrow we've invited back a bunch of the past players. I believe there's going to be between 125 and 150 alumni and their family. They're going to come in tonight and see the new facilities, have lunch with our players tomorrow, and just welcome them back. I'm very proud of the building, and one of the aspects of the building that we don't touch on a lot is the history that we've really tried to embrace and bring back. And we appreciate all the past players and all their efforts, and the past teams and the winning teams and the coaches that have done so well. We've really tried to embrace that history. We got those players coming back tonight. We want to welcome them, and it'll be a fun weekend. And again, I'm just really excited to get out on the practice field. You know, I really enjoy spending time with y'all and all these media events, but it's really exciting for our team after a year and a half of going through the building and building a team and building a program. It's really exciting to get out on the field today and start with a fresh beginning and a new start. And I really believe this team has what it takes physically and mentally to take us to the next level, and we're up for the challenge and ready to get started today. So I thank you, and I hope you guys have a great summer, and look forward to working with you here this year. Thank you.